Hi, and welcome to the second piece of the video. I will walk you through the Tableau presentation. Now, the first dashboard talks about the summary data. The summary data has two buckets in which we want to categorize the data. What is the accident severity type and what is the casual severity type? And the data that we are trying to plot is the number of vehicles impacted, number of accident that has happened, and the number of casualty. So if the accident is fatal, how many fatal casualty happens, how many serious casualty happen, how many slight casualty happens. So this is the data bifurcation. Also, we are always giving, since we are taking 2 years of data, we are always giving a filter for the accident year that you want to see. Do you want to see the entire 2 years data set, or are you only want to focus on 2015 or 2016? So this filter is there in all the slides. We are also trying to show the different class of the casualty that has happened. Second comes the make of the accident. How many most number of accident that happens make wise. So we can see that Vauxhall and Volkswagen tops the list. When it comes to fatal and serious, Honda takes the third position, whereas in the slight accident category, Volkswagen take the third position. You can always select the one that you want to see, and then if you select, the only the piece that you want to focus would be selected. Going on to the next one, when the accident happened, most number of accident happens in the month of October, mostly in the evening and on a day of the week, which is Friday. So we can correlate that on a Friday evening most number of accident happen. Of course, the month is October. We are trying to give you the number of casualty versus the number of accident happen. So though the number of accident happen is less, but the number of casualty is always more. Right, the tooltip, if you hover, will give you all the details. Then we are trying to focus on the casualty based on the age and gender. So if you see, 26 to 35 years is the age band where the most number of people are impacted because of the accident. These are the number of males versus these are the number of females that are being impacted because of the accident. We are also trying to show what happens when a male driver is driving, what happens when a female driver is driving, and what happens when we don't know the driver. We are trying to give you the data set also talks about the number of accident, what is the average age of the casualty, and what is the average speed at which the accident happened. uh, we have tried to keep the colors which were quite relevant with the gender, so that you can register these colors when you look at it. Now, this particular talks about where the accident happened, the location of each accident exactly. So you can always focus on one type of accident, based on the severity. If you select this, only the fatal accident will come. Now, if you want to see in this particular how many points are there where you have more than two accident or more than three accident at one particular point. So if you see here, this is the point where we had 4 number of accidents. This is the point where there we had 3 number of fatal accidents, so far and so forth. Similarly, if you want to focus on serious or focus on slight accident, let's say if I want to see slight accident which caused more than 11 accidents. So if you see here, these are the points where we had 12 accidents or 16 accidents, but those were slight accidents. But this is just a way of looking at the data. Next, we would want to see is how prompt the police force was. Right, so though the data look quite okay to us, because in most of the time, in 85 to 90% of the time, police has been visited the accident impacted area. But SS is one district or one area of the police force where police did not visit it 50% of the time. And this probably, we might want to look into the SX data more and see why is police not visiting the site. Again, we are trying to divide the data based on whether it is a rural or it is uh, urban area. This sites talk about whether the data is which district has caused most number of accident. We can see that Birmingham tops the list. We have, again, if I click on Birmingham, it will talk about how many number of drivers or the passenger or the pedestrian were impacted because in the district called Birmingham, or so far and so forth. So this is a word cloud. It talks about the more accident prone district. Then we will talk about the cause of the accident. The cause of the accident happened because it was going ahead. Most of the time the accident happened because the vehicle was moving ahead with the average speed of 40. 39.87 is 40. Similarly, followed was the slowing or moving down, it happens. And when maybe accident also happens when the vehicle is turning. We would also like to know where exactly the vehicle is impacted the most. So maybe the most number of time the vehicle is impacted from the front, then followed by back, then offside, near side. And there are also chances when it is hit but it is not impacted the vehicle. This particular slide talks about the type of the vehicle that caused most number of accident. How old was the vehicle? So we are trying to bucketize this data into the age of the vehicle versus the type of the vehicle. So we can say that 5 to 10 years aged car causes most number of accident, right? Whereas agriculture vehicle from 0 to 5 causes, they do not cause that much of number of accidents here. That's it from my side. Thank you.